So yeah, parenting. I don't know why we talked so long about parenting.
We talked way too long. I was supposed to talk about.
Oh yeah, we got time.
Whataburger.
We got time.
We're recording a couple more.
No, I think I'll just cut some of that parenting stuff. So basically, here's the pro tip from my mother. Pro tip from my mother is correct the behavior. Say, hey, pull them aside, make them look at you. Make them stare into your eyes and listen. And if they're not willing to listen to you, then you spank them. You tell them what they're doing wrong. Then you give them a threat. You go, okay, you need to stop doing this. You explain it. You make sure that they know what you're talking about. You say it in simple enough terms for their age. Words that they know. And then, make them repeat it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you say, if you don't do that, I'm going to, we're going to go home. You're going to go into timeout. You're going to have to come sit with me. Or you're going to get a spanking.
If you don't cut it out.
You're going to pick one of those options, whatever you feel is appropriate or whatever you feel is going to work for the kid. I highly encourage spanking because it's like a primal, you don't want to be hurt, and your willingness to change your behavior to not get hurt is going to be a lot stronger than something that's less tangible, like going home early. Right? You kind of have to be a smart kid to realize you're being punished when you have to go sit with your mother. I see so many parents that's their go-to punishment, and it's not enough for the kid. Because they're not afraid of their parent, so they don't behave when they're near their mom or when they're near their parent. You don't need to be afraid of your parent, but you should recognize that your parent is going to punish you if you misbehave. So I highly encourage spanking, but whatever you feel is appropriate for the time and the child. And so you give them your threat, you let them go, or whatever. And if they continue that exact behavior, you pull them aside. You go, you're doing this again. You explain it to them again. And I told you last time, if you do it again, I'm going to spank you. And then you spank them. Because you're going to do what you said. If you don't do what they said, they're not going to trust you.
They're not going to take you seriously.
Or take you seriously. So do what you said you were going to do. For the love of all that is good. And also, don't do the counting thing. Because, here's something, if you're a Christian, you should know this. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. So if you're going to do, I'm going to count from 3, and if you don't correct the behavior by then, you're putting a window of time that they can still misbehave and be disobedient until they need to be obedient. And so it's you're literally giving them the opportunity to continue misbehaving for whatever amount of time. And I also know way too many parents that will never get to 1. Pro tip from my mother, who's had 10 children. She knows how to parent.
10 of them. See, I really like the idea of, like you said, whenever you make a threat, I think it has to be effective. I feel like threatening to remove their kidney and sell it.
No. No, doing that to kids is amazing, but I feel like that's father-only territory. That's you can't have your nurturing mother say that to you, but absolutely your dad can be like, if you don't stop this right now, I'm gonna cut out your kidney and sell it. That's a very effective threat if you're a father and the kid is over the age of 5.
The father's like, man, you're misbehaving. I'd really like a new whatever. If you keep that up, I can cut out your liver and sell it. Are we done with this topic now?
Yeah. Whataburger?
I was enjoying the topic for a while, but I was like, oh my gosh, it's been like 40 minutes.
Yeah. That's okay.
Actually, no, it's probably been longer than that.
Yeah.
Whataburger.
Okay.
Okay, do you want me to tell you what happened at the beginning of the week leading up to Whataburger? They're not necessarily related, but it's at least interesting.
Give me like a very short synopsis. I don't need a lot of detail.
But it's like it's its own separate thing. It's just in order.
Oh, no, just do Whataburger.
Okay. Whataburger. So, I'm hungry. I'm doing laundry here and whatnot. And so, it's like, okay, I have about an hour until the dryer's done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to Whataburger. So, I get in my car, go to Whataburger, and I get there at the same time another vehicle does. I get out of my car. They get out of their car. And I'm just like, huh. It's not October. Walk inside. These people are dressed up as witches from like the Disney movie Hocus Pocus or something.
Uh-huh.
Very corny, very just weird as heck.
Uh-huh.
And I assumed that these people were like college age kids.
Uh-huh.
I'm standing in line at Whataburger. They're ordering their food. I'm thinking about what I want to get. And they look back at me. They are not teenagers. They're not young adults. They're like 40 or 50 years old.
We sure wasn't just good makeup.
No. These people are old.
Okay.
They're just old. They were just straight up witches.
Okay, they were not.
They had to have been.
I have an explanation.
Okay. Let me hear it.
Comic-Con was here this weekend. Is here, actually. It's Saturday. It's Comic-Con this weekend.
Yeah, but they weren't really dressed as anything in particular.
Witches. That's close enough.
There was also a rainstorm.
Are you blaming that on the witches?
No, I'm saying that like witches will do weird like whatevers during this time. Like,
I mean, witches do be witching every once in a while.
Yeah,
and we also had like an 11-minute rainstorm, but it was also Comic-Con.
Yeah, but Comic-Con's like in Springfield, not Ozark.
Yeah, but like, wasn't it pretty late when you went to Whataburger?
Kind of, but why in Ozark?
Because they live here. So they're like, hey, let's get Whataburger before we go home. And they're in their cosplay.
Their cosplay, meanwhile, they're 40 or 50 years old.
It could have been really good makeup, or they're just older people who like to go to Comic-Con and dressed like witches. I'm saying it's a reasonable argument.
That is a
but
reasonable
I also
argument.
would not be surprised if they were just witches, but also witches usually don't dress like witches.
See, that's what I thought. Because I've met people that are witches.
Yeah.
And they don't dress like that.
No.
But at the same time, it's like, hold on. If they were doing like some kind of seance or something, of course they're going to...
I mean, there's no like, it's not the KKK. They don't have an outfit for their event.
I can't verify that they do or don't. I'm just going to assume that they're just... Because they're... Yeah, first of all, if you're practicing black magic, chances are you're already kind of retarded.
That's a statement.
Saying.
Yeah. You're certainly not making a correct choice, but
you're certainly not making a good decision. So it's just, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just Comic-Con.
I hope that's what it was.
Because the people that were there was a lot of like fantasy things there for Comic-Con. So
what kind of Comic-Con is this?
It was, I mean, it's the Springfield Comic-Con, so they had like Sean Astin, the guy from Blue's Clues, the first guy, Steve.
Oh, yes, the witch.
They had a lot of voice actors that I don't know because I don't watch anime. There was a lot of people there. There was also, well, I think that was just today, there's a lot of like WWE people and like a goth rock band. But
so it's probably Comic-Con.
it's probably,
but
I
it's
could
still
totally see someone dressing up as a witch for Comic-Con, getting dinner after the event at Whataburger before they go home, because Ozark is just a suburb of Springfield.
They also had like that old woman voice, like nasally, like
50-year-olds were born in the like 70s, right?
back when you could still smoke cigarettes at school.
Yeah. I don't remember. Hold on. I threw my phone away because it was buzzing too much.
Anyways, yeah, that was.
How long ago was 1970? 53 years ago. So 50-year-olds were born in the 70s.
Yeah.
Or late 60s. So that means that they were like teenagers in the 80s, early 80s. So yeah, it makes sense that they would actually be old and into that kind of stuff. Probably play a lot of D&D. Probably actual witches too.
That's possible. But like there's actually, so from what I've been told, and I don't really have any proof of it, but there's apparently a large community of witches.
Oh, massive
in Springfield. So that's why I assumed it, because it's like,
well, what else are you gonna do in Missouri?
Drugs and
drugs, alcohol,
unmarital sex,
premarital sex.
Oh, I prefer unmarital.
Unmarital. Because we're assuming you're not getting married. And witchcraft.
Yeah.
Like, it's the easiest thing to do, or smoke pot.
Here's the thing.
I already said drugs.
There's more to do here in Springfield than there is in Somerset, Kentucky.
Yeah,
or just in the state of Kentucky in general. There's nothing to do in Kentucky besides the things you listed above.
Yeah.
And
so witchcraft is very big here. Also because there's
Minecraft.
Also because there's a large Christian population here.
Uh-huh.
People are gonna be more polarized because if they're more likely to grow up in churches, which means there's gonna be more people that are gonna be hurt by churches, which means there's gonna be more people who are gonna turn to things like Satanism.
Yeah,
because that's usually the progression. Either you're like, you hate God and you're just an atheist, or you're like, you know what, this devil guy seems pretty cool. So you get into Satanism or just witchcraft.
Yeah.
So
and then you have your Christians that perform witchcraft and they don't know it. But that's a different topic for another day.
Yeah.
Anyways,
doing things in your own power without God is technically witchcraft. Yeah. Biblically. Look it up. I'm not going to explain it.
It's pretty self-explanatory. It kind of explains itself.
It is.
It's rebellion. Believe it or not, look it up. It's in a book. It's called the Bible.
Not the Book of Mormon.
Not the Book of Mormon.
By the way, we have not had an appearance because there's been no table here, so there's been no appearance of the Book of Mormon.
I should have used that to kill a centipede.
Oh. You can like wipe it up with the centipede. Wipe up the centipede with it. Just have centipede guts in it.
I might. I don't know.
Or I can like make some more Mormon sprinkles. I'm gonna break the fork doing this.
Probably. Here's the thing.
We also kind of decided that we probably shouldn't destroy the. Oh, I'm gonna slurp this up like spaghetti. Oh, delicious.
What? Actually, that looks kind of cool.
It does look kind of cool. It's a pop-up book now.
See, you can tell. You open it up, and it's a poo emoji. Anyways, that was book. That was page 147, 48, 49, and 50 of Mosiah 117. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yep.
I like how it's worded because it sounds like it was made up.
By the way, if you're Mormon, y'all are the nicest Christians out there.
You
Just
guys
by the way.
really are very nice. I just want you to understand that your book was written by like my great 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 uncle. Just
There's a
letting
couple
you know.
more greats, but yeah, it's
Just letting you know, it's
pretty
it's
darn
made up. I love you guys, but this is not the word of Christ. This is a word of Joseph Smith, who
was a scam artist.
Was just, yeah, he's a con artist, and he didn't think it was gonna work. He did this as a joke, and somehow it stayed. Again, I don't hate you. I just don't understand how you can read this and take
Y'all
it seriously.
do the best at taking care of your community,
Yeah, you
reaching
really
out
do.
to people in the community and trying to
Again,
get them
you do.
saved. And you do the best at being nice. Y'all are all like Chick-fil-A employees.
Basically, yeah. It's like I don't hate you guys. I don't understand how you guys
a good
do this.
Mormon takes their like beliefs very seriously, and I really respect that.
Yeah, that's something I can respect.
So there's a lot that I respect of you guys, but not this.
That has become a meme on our page / channel. If you're not aware, but we don't hate you.
No,
it's just
we just hope that you see the light, that your religion is
it's like
not
you guys
entirely
don't
real.
not have the Bible. It's just you don't read the Bible as much, do you?
They read the Mormon translation, like the Joseph Smith translation, which is highly altered, which is why that book can exist at all.
Oh, okay, so that is meant to pair up with their translation of the Bible,
which takes out very important things like don't add or remove from the scripture. Well, or if it is still in there, it's interpreted differently.
Yeah, and like that, I'm sure that's how a lot of cults are started. But
you take like 3 things and you just twist them, and you can add so much more and create a cult. It's very, very easy.
You want to hear what happened?
Absolutely.
Okay. So a continuation of what happened with the witches. So I sit down waiting for my meal, and as I'm doing that, there's a family to my left. They have not seen the witches yet. They're not in view of them. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just like, oh, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be fun. And so the witches start to walk towards the corner where like the family's like eating in their own area, and they pass by, and the entire like the family, the kids are not facing the direction to see the witches, but the parents are. And I'm looking at one of the parents just straight up in the eyes as these witches pass, and I'm just like, having it.
For the audio listeners, Gabe mouthed, nope.
Not having it. And yeah, even before like the witches would like look at me, and I'd just be stone faced like I just do not really care at the moment. It's like I do not have the patience to deal with you right now.
Yeah.
And so they kept on like it was like they took like a look at me like at least 5 times just ordering their food. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, that's what happened last night. Very weird. And now that I discovered that it could have just been old Comic-Con people, I'm even it doesn't make any more sense. It's just weird in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Pretty much.
Also, something else happened.
Okay.
This started because I think it was like Sunday or something. Seth watched a breakdown of the hit new song Facts.
Oh my gosh.
Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, so it's Ben Shapiro's rap song.
Yeah, with Tom McDonald.
Yeah. I've not heard it.
It is so good.
Really? I hear clips and I'm like, I think it sucks.
No, it's great.
But maybe I'm hearing the bad parts. I don't know.
In context, there is no bad parts.
Okay. I haven't listened to the whole song, so I'll listen to it though.
I'm not even joking. I hate rap, but for whatever reason, I was like, oh, I like this song. Let's see what else he does. I've been listening to rap for the past week now.
What? That's actually really surprising.
I know, because I hate rap.
Yeah, but there's subgenres of rap that are actually good. I like older rap. I like some Christian rap. I haven't heard that guy, but
Tom is an interesting character. I can't get my head completely around who exactly he is.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I've seen of him, he seems like he's genuinely happy. He's a genuinely happy guy that has problems with rap.
Yep.
He notices things that are wrong with rap, and he's noticed some things that are wrong with his own life. And it's like, oh my gosh, he's not pursuing the whole, like, I'm going to, like,
be obscene.
Yeah, because, like,
a lot of rap is just how obscene can I make this song?
Yeah, it's just like it's always sexualized. It's always like how it's always extreme of things that like glorifies a lifestyle that will lead to death. And we know this because of how many rappers die young.
Yeah. My problem with a lot of Christian rappers is that they're pretty cringy.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I'm about to send some shockwaves through my my friend groups. Some people are gonna be with me. Some people are gonna be really offended by this. The artist NF sucks.
I've heard the name. Don't know what he is.
I don't like his music.
Okay.
He is a worse Eminem. So it's Eminem's style where it's just like drums and bass and then like his voice and like a lot of the like melody is supposed to come from his voice.
Okay.
But he has worse rhymes, worse writing. Like it's not as good. And he's supposed to be Christian. He's not. He's a very depressed Christian, and he expresses that with his music, which is fine to express your feelings through your music, but also it's not quite beneficial to the kingdom of God, which is as a Christian is what you're supposed to do.
Is he like whining, or is he more of like?
It's supposed to come across as like, this is what I've been through, and so you should like. Either you're going to relate to it and you're going to be able to process your emotions, or you're going to be encouraged that you're not alone with this problem that you're having.
Okay.
That's how it's supposed to come off. But to me, and to what I've seen to a lot of people, is it either heightens people's like people will be like, I'm pretty sad about this or something, then they'll listen to one of his songs and it'll be like exponentially worse.
Oh,
because it's like they hear the song and they relate to the song, but then it like almost becomes a part of just them for a period of time.
So it's not okay. So that sounds like the artist isn't like. Okay, there's ways of handling depression that I've seen people do, and there's a group of people that are like, oh yeah, well I'm depressed, and it becomes part of their identity, and they talk about their fight against it, and it's like they try to encourage other people to like hang in there, kind of thing. Which, don't get me wrong, I can respect the fact that they're open about it and that they are, making steps towards it. But here's the problem. They usually don't seem to have any hope of escaping it or breaking through it.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like, oh, well, this is just now a thing I have to deal with every day. It's like me going through depression. Sure, there's moments in which like I feel depressed. I know I'm currently going through like moments in which like, it's like, oh, I'm feeling depressed. This is going on. But then I always recognize at some point, hey, there's a reason why you're feeling this way. There's a spiritual aspect to it, and there's physical things that add to it.
Mm-hmm.
The spiritual side is more of like, hey, you recognize, like, I recognize that I have believed and fallen for a lie. Something that is like, oh, there's a problem in my life that, like, hey, I feel unloved, or I feel like I'm not good enough, or my very best effort isn't going to amount to anything, no matter what I do.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lie that I've believed, even though I know it's not true. I ended up believing it because I haven't seen anything that contradicts it.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you recognize, hey, that's a lie, and the only reason why it's having an effect on me is because I'm letting it, and you're like, okay, God, how do I handle this? And he'll walk you through it. God will walk you through the steps. He won't.
And if you're not one of those people that believe that God actually talks to you, there's a scripture that will help you.
Yeah. And like, here's the thing. If you are not hearing from God, it's like a muscle. You have to exercise it. And sometimes it is very subtle. Sometimes, and for certain people, it's less of something that you hear and more of something that you feel. So you have to be careful with that, because the enemy can also do that to you.
So there's two things.
But this is...
God will always talk to you about, or always, okay, God is always talking to you. He's always communicating to you at all times. And then, so you have to just tune in. But then he'll always talk to you in the way that he knows you will recognize him. So if you're only going to recognize him through, like, okay, here's the thing. He'll talk differently to people. There is a point when you exercise that muscle of hearing him where you'll understand, like, his voice. It won't be like audible sometimes it is, but it won't always be. It will just be like a thought that is just so recognizably not your own thought because you were not thinking about that thing before. Sometimes it feels like spontaneous inspiration or something. Just like all of a sudden, oh, here's this thought that's not usually, or like I didn't even know about that until now. That's usually the Lord speaking to you.
And sometimes when the Lord is talking to you, it's in correction.
Yes.
Like,
so
it's something that's like, oh, well, I'm this or I'm that. And God's like, why do you have to talk to yourself that way? Like, why? Stop.
So I hear the Lord in a way that, like, I'll like hear him, like how I explain with like the thoughts and whatever, but he'll speak to me in a way that my dad would speak to me. So sometimes it's real snarky. Sometimes he's like, I'll be doing something, or I'll be going through something, and I'll just be praying, like, why is this going on? Or like, why am I feeling this way? Or, what do I, usually it's when I say something like, what do I do? And he's like, you know what you're supposed to do. Like he'll say something like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to pray about it. Like I'm supposed to like give up these feelings that I'm having to you and be like, help me through it. I have to like let go of my pride. That's usually what he's saying, is like, let go of your pride. And so, but I know people where he's super tender with, and he's not like, he's very like, he talks very clearly, very, almost like the scripture. It almost sounds like Bible verses, because that's how they recognize that it's the Lord. And that's how they can be sure that it's God speaking to them. And so God will speak to you in whatever way that you're going to receive it. He's always trying to make sure he's not going to be like, oh, today, I'm going to speak to this person through road signs because I'm being tricksy. No, he's going to make sure that you have the best chance of hearing him.
But this all started from talking about people who are depressed.
Yeah.
There's a proper way of handling depression. And of course it's with God, but it's like the way I have worked with it. Of course, like I said, recognizing the lies, recognizing things that you have believed, and then it's one thing to just be like, okay, I recognize those lies. I don't believe anymore. It's not that easy usually.
Yeah.
Usually it's something that's like so ingrained that you have to like pray about it, work with it with God, and he'll
not only stop believing the lies, but also like remember to stop believing the lies, and also like
stop beating yourself up with the same stuff.
Yeah, and then like continuing to remember to like to pray to God about stuff, and like there is a level of behavior modification after the healing has been. Sometimes there isn't behavior modification. Sometimes it's complete miraculous healing.
Usually, if it is a behavior modification, usually it's a mental step where it's like, I no longer think this way because it's no longer a part of me.
Yeah,
I've rejected that thing that has latched onto me because it is not from God.
And some people will be like, well, if it's God, then why didn't you just take it away entirely? But it's usually because you still have things to learn about God, and you still have lies that you need to
It's that you haven't fully rejected that thing that has bothered you. So it's like there's remnants of it still there.
Basically,
and it takes time.
Basically, don't question God. Be patient. He knows what's best.
And it's like it's not God isn't taking it from you because he is like, oh well, you haven't learned your lesson yet. It's more of like, okay, you haven't trusted me with this yet. That's fine. I'm patient. I'm here for you whenever you're ready to let go.
Yeah. Anyway,
because that's like it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's so far my understanding of how he works. Because
he's not going to take away something that you haven't given up to him, because he will always respect your right to have free will and rebel against him.
Yeah.
If you wish to. Because if you don't have the option to rebel against him, then your love for him means nothing. Because like if you create robots and you program them to love you no matter what, it's meaningless. But if you raise children, human children, and they love you as adults, that is so fulfilling.
See,
and God's the same way.
Speaking of that, apparently there's a big move to replace basically romantic relationships with AI chatbots.
Oh my gosh. It's a big thing in Japan.
It's a big thing in Japan, and it's creeping over here as well, to a degree to where it's like, this is actually a problem.
It's pretty gross. And I think we should leave it there. It's pretty gross.
It's messed up.
So, okay, we are like
2 hours almost. Dang.
Yeah, so we got like 10 minutes of we can talk about other stuff if you have another story. Oh, the thing about, we were talking about rap. I think NF has the ability to do a lot more bad than good.
Okay.
And I also think that his music is subpar. And so I don't like NF.
Well, I have really enjoyed listening to Tom McDonald. He's not. I don't think he's a Christian artist. I don't even know if he's Christian.
Yeah,
but
he has good values. Seemingly,
he seems to have pretty good values. He calls things out for what he sees them as, which I can respect. And I recognize something through his music. The way he has viewed politics is the way I have slowly started to realize it being, essentially.
What?
That both left and right doesn't matter. They're both corrupt.
Yeah, no.
And it's like
all of government is just people wanting more power.
Yeah, it's just a game of pick one side or the other, play the game how they want you to, and move your dice, roll your dice, move your mice, no one gets hurt kind of thing. Yep. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like he's articulating what I'm thinking through music in a simple way. So it's like, yes, that is what I've recognized.
Yeah, I mean, you go far back enough in history, which you don't even have to go that far. I'm talking like you go back to the 60s and just study U.S. politics from the 60s to today, and you're going to realize that everyone's been corrupt forever. You do like, oh man, so like every person who knows American history knows that the government's corrupt and all this stuff. And it's just
like,
it's not.
I still think you have a few individuals that genuinely want to help people and genuinely do take their job seriously.
I have a lot,
but it's far and few between.
I have a lot of hope and respect for Josh Hawley, which is the Missouri senator. He went to a church that I know is very good. He's eaten at a restaurant that I used to work at. His family actually eats at that restaurant quite a lot. But like he tends to focus on things that I don't think are important, like internet safety and regulating the internet.
As in what?
As in, I think that Congress is trying too hard to make companies responsible for users.
Oh. Okay.
Like there's a big thing about like Facebook needs to basically prevent predators from being on Facebook because they have access to talking to children. And it's like, yes, they also have access to talking to children going to Walmart. Do you sue Walmart every time there's something that goes down at Walmart?
Holding the company's liable, not the individual.
Yeah. The company's liable. You know what that does? It causes the company to increase surveillance, increase stupid rules, and you're going to get a lot of people caught in the crossfire that were just not
involved.
Like just falsely accused of something.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people that get banned off of Facebook because so many people get mad at them that they just lie and report them until Facebook has no choice but to delete their account. And because people are just dishonest. And for some reason, Congress doesn't get that in their head.
Why would they lie to? Why would people lie? No one ever lies unless they're me.
We need to stop making companies responsible for users. For the most part.
Like you wouldn't sue Ford Motor Companies because a guy got drunk and decided to drive his truck.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's a waste of time.
Like there's some times where it's like kind of beneficial, like YouTube. The reason why they have such big copyright rules is because YouTube is liable to any lawsuits, like copyright related lawsuits on their platform that were uploaded by users, right?
Okay.
So because YouTube is liable, it actually protects the users, which is kind of nice.
But usually the punishment isn't like you get sued. It's usually like
you get a cease and desist.
Yeah,
which is what it used to be on YouTube.
Your content is just not monetized.
Well,
isn't that usually what it is?
Well, that's what it is now because YouTube is liable. Before YouTube was ruled liable for what's on their website, they just had basic rules to, no nudity, stuff like that, just to keep order, some form of order. But then courts were like, YouTube, you are liable for the content that's on your website. So if you have copyrighted content that's on your website that was not approved by the company, the copyright holder, you, the company, are responsible for taking that lawsuit. So YouTube freaked out and went, okay, people, you got to stop posting anything that has copyright stuff. But before that happened, what would happen is someone would use a copyrighted song in a video. That company would, or the copyright holder would see that video and go, okay, we need to get their contact information. We need to send them an email or a letter or something and tell them to take the video down because they're using copyrighted content. So it's a lawsuit, cease and desist, whatever, how it's been for any other type of media for eons.
Mm.
You know, the individual who made it gets the heat for doing the illegal thing, not the company that hosts it. Like if there was someone sold a bunch of copies to Walmart of a pirated movie.
Okay.
Are you suing the person that made the pirated stuff, or are you suing Walmart for selling the pirated thing? Because Walmart probably didn't know it was pirated. This doesn't happen. You could use a thing like Goodwill or something. Are you suing Goodwill or the person who made it? Person who pirated it. You're gonna probably traditionally you sue the person that made it, pirated it.
But what if you don't know who did it? Like, if something was sold to like Walmart or Goodwill in bulk of like a copyright thing, pirated, that company would probably have to sue Goodwill because it's like you shouldn't have accepted this product to begin with.
Well, in this thing, the store wouldn't know that it was copyright or pirated or whatever. They're buying them illegally or whatever. In that case, you send a cease and desist letter. Be like, hey, did you know that you're doing this? Stop doing this.
Right.
And the company is supposed to stop doing it. And then you can sue them after.
There have been instances in which like some company is doing something like that.
Yeah.
And usually
like Blockbuster and stuff.
Yeah, and like I'm assuming the issue is resolved pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But
so it used to be you would sue the individual who made it, or if it was like a movie or something, it's the production company.
Mm-hmm.
You sue the production company. Well, the thing is, these music companies lobbied the Supreme Court, or I think it was the Supreme Court or someone, to rule that YouTube or any of those companies are publishing companies, not websites that host videos. They are publishing companies.
They're publishers, yeah.
So they're responsible for what is published through them. So either that means YouTube has to vet everything, or they have to like do what they ended up doing.
See, but here's the thing. So many videos are uploaded to YouTube daily that vetting those videos is impossible.
It's impossible. Now they have AI to do it, but
right,
the AI isn't that great.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of times which something slips through the cracks and YouTube either catches up and finds it or and this happens a lot to mostly people that publish like political stuff, is YouTube already has an eye on them. They usually have somebody that's like, their job is making sure to like keep an eye on what they're doing, because God forbid they mention a topic that they don't like. And so YouTube is like, all right, cool. So we're going to like suspend your channel for this amount of time for this reason. And then those YouTubers have to have like a lawyer basically on call so they can defend themselves from YouTube, because YouTube is abusing their power, being like, hey, you can't talk about this. But again, they're a publisher, so they can technically do it. But at the same time, if it's not against their, what is it called? Policy?
Yeah.
Then it's kind of just a waste of time and a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's But I don't know anything about it.
Those same YouTubers also publish stuff on like another platform like Rumble, which it's gaining more traction. But is it ever going to replace YouTube?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think so. Unless something crazy happens to YouTube.
I mean, there's been talks about YouTube being shut down for eons because it's not profitable.
It's not profitable? How?
It's just the expenses of hosting that many videos is so absolutely insane that they can't like put out enough ads to cover their cost.
Huh.
Yep.
But hold on. So it costs money for them to host videos that were like made 15 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Because they're storing it on their servers.
Like a physical server.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's taking actual space that eats actual power, and they have to pay rent on an actual building.
So what you're telling me is that the best way to defeat YouTube is to literally upload as many
You're gonna get your account suspended.
absurd. Okay, maybe, but like if everyone decided, hey, we're gonna bombard YouTube with just videos of me just doing this for like
Yeah, people could
20
shut
minutes.
down YouTube. If they
Okay,
wanted to.
so if people really didn't like YouTube, they could do that.
At some point, YouTube's gonna recognize what's going on and just shut down all uploads.
Right, but like, when is it going to be okay? At some point, how is YouTube going to handle the crisis that they have if they have to like? There's only so much space it can host.
They expand all the time.
Right, but if they can't really afford what they're doing now, like, is there going to be a crash? Are people going to lose videos and channels? Like, what's going to happen?
It's a good question.
Yeah. Somebody who's listening to this, even someone from YouTube, if you want to talk to us about this topic, I'm at least interested in understanding what's going on. I'm sure he would like to understand what's going on.
Give us a call. We'll have you on the podcast.
We'll talk things over. Because I'm genuinely curious what's going on.
Yeah.
But we're getting pretty close to the end of the podcast.
Yeah, I think we're good.
But yeah, seriously, YouTube, if you want to reach out, like, you really have no incentive to, but could at least make good content, help us understand. Who knows? Something good might come from it. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
You all have a good week. We'll try to upload more regularly, but we're working it out.
Yep. Bye-bye.